There's still a lot to do, but aware as I am of Saturn's recent return to its native Capricorn, I have been diligently applying myself to the task at hand. With the bedroom nearing completion, I am now able to begin laying the floor. The floor must be complete before I can build work surfaces and make the place livable. I had to play around with levels a bit, but soon the first floorboard was cut and ready to be screwed down. We take floors for granted. I promise you, dirt and a big pit with a few 2x4s over the top does not make for a comfortable living environment. Slow motion interior shot. Doesn't this look like somewhere you'd want to live? I'm about to sort out the supports in the bedroom for the very last time. I want to replace the really inconvenient central pillar at the back with two smaller ones out to the side. Also a 2x3 which reaches the full width of the board on top.
Alright, that was the easy bit. That's it, so I got 3 of these 3x2s. You know, when I had the single post there and I had a bit of 3x2 that was that wide, I didn't really I didn't trust it because the sides were dropping down a little bit, but full width there. Coming a little bit because most of the weight seems to be in the centre, and this will be the start of the bed. The bed will be built off of these two things. There'll be a few shelves at the side for books or whatever. So fucking cosy in here.
I've trimmed the walls to vertical. I will fit plyboard behind the pillars to cover them up. Time to make the trapdoor. Placing a Z shape on the back for rigidity. But obviously this needs to go underneath, so I'm fitting 2 dummy planks to hold the loose boards in place, and then I'll fit the Z from below. The final screws go in from above, and the dummies are removed. Got it right first time, thankfully. getting real technical. Who needs a jigsaw? Skills that free you from paying bills.
Morning. It's day 2. It's the last night I'm going to sleep on the door frame because I'm actually going to hang the door this morning. At the moment I'm just clamping extra pallet wood on here and screwing it in. I've had enough of sleeping on that thing, it's not very good, and the bedroom's dug now, so I'll be building a bed the next time I'm here. Oh yeah, this is the thing. My friends who I live with right now, Leanne, she's found someone to take the room that I currently live in. So I've got my marching orders. I think I've got maybe about another week living in town, and then I'm here full time. And it's that final kick up the arse that I needed, because you know, when was I going to decide that that this place was livable? When I got the roof on, that was like the end of September last year, and I said that's it, I can go. And I even gave a month's notice back then. So yeah, I don't really know how we're going to work it. I think I'm going to do one more materials delivery with Greg, get some plyboard to shore up the bedroom, and obviously that's supported now. I'm quite happy with that. I was down there yesterday morning, I haven't been down there since. I don't know what it looks like down there, it might have caved in, I don't know. No, it's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, I'll get on and fit the door and do a bit more flooring, I think.
Every fortress needs a sturdy door. I'm fitting 3 short pieces of 2x3 to take the hinges. But first I need to fill the door with polystyrene insulation.
I've taken the rather dubious decision of sawing the polystyrene to the right width so I can fit it in the back of the door. It's going to make the insulation a lot better because it's going to fit perfectly. But something you've got to bear in mind whenever you start taking a saw to polystyrene is you're going to get a lot of this white polystyrene, and it's going to contaminate the area. So regrettably I've had to do it. It's the only way I can get the door well insulated. But it does mean I'm going to be finding little bits of white polystyrene in this place for probably for years to come. Hopefully for years to come. That would be nice if I could live here that long. But it's got to be done to get these things to fit in. They're too wide, and if I do them up the other way, there's a huge gap at the side. So, and I've done it down in the bedroom just because this is where it's going to be most easily contained. I'm about to start fitting the hinges. What I'm going to use for this is the so-called security screw, and if you look very closely you can see it's like a normal Torx head. That's the normal head I've been using. It's like a 6-pointed star. This is a 6-pointed star with a little kind of pointy bit in the middle. So you need this special drill bit to get into the screw, right? A normal drill bit just won't go in there, so you can't take the screws out. But obviously they helpfully supply you with this little drill bit to open the security screw. So basically if anyone comes here and they see this thing and they're like, oh my god, we've got to get in here and fucking find out what this mad scientist is doing, or get into this secret listening post or this military ammo dump, whatever the fuck's in this secret shed in the woods, they've got to go to B&Q and get one of these. They're a pretty common item actually. They're just not as common as this one. It might frustrate someone by the time they've walked all the way to B&Q. they might just think, fuck it, we'll just let him get on with whatever he's doing out there. He's working on some mad science project, he's running some tests, he's doing some secret shit for the army, or he's having a spiritual awakening, whatever. Just let him get on with it. Initially I wasn't even going to bother with the door, I was just going to have like a roll of carpet that I was just going to roll down and roll up and just hold up with some belts, but that was before I decided to like get serious of all this, you know, and layers of wood and all this stuff. Now I think it's probably best, and for peace of mind as well. I mean, if it's discovered, it's fucked anyway, because they'll get in here one way or the other, but just for peace of mind, I'm now building it, you know, really, really hardcore. And I've also got these bolts here, got the rounded head, so you can't get at it with a spanner or a screwdriver, and that goes in through there, right to the other side of the door, and it's fastened on the back with a nut. So between them and the security screw, you're going to have a hard time breaking in here. And also I put a decent lock on it. And yeah, I suppose you could just get a chainsaw and start hacking through these, but if you do that you're going to get to the polystyrene, and I would suspect that the polystyrene will probably just like spontaneously combust and blow up your chainsaw, and you'll probably fucking die horribly. So hey, we got security covered. I'm really annoyed to say, but I don't have an 8mm drill bit. It goes up to like 6.5, that set. So I have to do this another day, because basically I've got to put the security bolt through there to give it any kind of stability. It's really heavy. So then there we go, you know, you do things on a budget. There's some things I don't care how much it costs, but other things like door hinges, obviously I cut corners. But you know, I'm reading a book, I've got to show you this book, it's amazing. A Declaration into Tyranny by P.T. Mosses, which I think is a pseudonym. P.T. Mosses, get it? I found this book, I wanted to know what the word registration means. I just googled it because, you know, when you start thinking about things like licensing and registration and authority. Who has authority? Where do they get it? Where do they derive authority? Who has the right to tell you, an individual, what to do? To cut a long story short, is no one, really no one. But basically what the government do so they can get on and do their schemes is they manufacture consent through various means, and you know, I'm going to do a video about this. I'm going to do a video about the news and why the news is the way it is, and what the news is actually hoping to achieve, and what it is achieving. You know, you're giving consent when you watch the news and you don't kick up a fuss. You're giving consent to every atrocity that they talk about, the paedophilia, the wars, the destruction of the environment, all of that stuff. It's basically they're saying, hey, we're doing this stuff. Are you cool with that? And you know, what the fuck do you do about it? You post on social media, I'm fucked off that they're doing this and that, and you're still paying taxes. You're paying for it. That's the thing, guys. We're paying for them to fuck us over, and we're paying for them to destroy the planet on our behalf. And every time you vote, if you vote, you're not changing a goddamn thing. You know, these are pressure relief valves. I've talked about it before, and I will talk about it again at length. The way I found it was I googled registration. I wanted to know what it was, and you know, some of the text from this book came up, and I thought, damn, this is right up my street. I've got to get it. So, vive la revolution! Keep the dream alive, people. And keep watching this channel, because I'm taking myself off of this frequency. Off this frequency right here, I'm taking myself off this frequency. I'm going back to this frequency, which is nature, which is where you don't need permission. You don't need permission from the guys at the top here. You don't need a license. You don't need to register anything. This dwelling is unregistered. It's just an experiment. I'm not saying if you do it differently that you're doing it wrong, but it wasn't working for me. It felt like a trap. It felt like a prison, and they're farming us, guys. They are farming us. And all it takes is for you to withdraw consent. That's really it. And that's what this book talks about. There's a lot of information out there. Just get curious, get interested, and don't be afraid of what you find. You know, they call it the rabbit hole for a reason, but take it easy, guys. A Declaration into Tyranny by P.T. Mosses. Researched by R.D. Flower. Don't think that's a joke name, but P.T. Mosses.